welcome to Wholesale Hotties, the place where ladies in real estate are talking about real estate. I'm your MC, Sharon Lee Smith, and I have my co-host, Donda Molinex. Look at how cute her hair is tonight, guys. And Monique Bell. Hey, girl, hey.
Hi.
Tonight, I am super excited to have on Stephanie Gibson talking about one of the most hottest topics in real estate today, which is co-living. And so, Stephanie,
Thank you.
we're so glad to have you on. Thank you for being.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
You're welcome. Awesome. So tell us a bit about you. Let's start at the beginning. What got you into real estate in the first place, and how did you transition into co-living, and what's going on in your world?
It was actually kind of an accident how I got started.
Of course.
Yeah. I wanted absolutely nothing to do with real estate a couple of years ago, and my husband had joined with his partner, had joined Sub 2, and I would kind of just hear things in the background, and quickly became very interested and almost obsessed with it. Just all the different ways that you could help people and do things. It was just being able to help people is what attracted me to it most.
Awesome. So then at what point in your journey did you transition into co-living?
Well, again, that was kind of an accident. My son used to have friends over all the time, and a lot of kids didn't have good parents or good situations, and there was always a lot of youth at my house that were just kind of always at our house for long periods of time. And I wanted to do something about that, to be able to help those kids who maybe didn't have anywhere to go, or so that was kind of how it started. And when my son graduated and went to college, I started researching ways that I could do that. And there wasn't a lot of options available.
Mhm.
And just trying to find different ways to, get in the door with certain people. It would just trial and error, just trying different things, different ways it was really hard. It was really hard to help them. And so it became kind of a mission to just figure out different ways to work with different agencies. And that was how it all got started.
Interesting. So you're working with like state agencies on placing kids out of foster care, or what's going on?
I'm working with all different kinds agencies, just word of mouth. A lot of times, a lot of youth don't want to say things. And so a lot of times people that I will help is referral. I actually just started advertising before. If you looked me up, like, you couldn't find me. And it's been almost 2 years, and I'm at 14 homes, and they're all full. Like, I have no vacancies.
Wow.
It's been pretty crazy.
That's phenomenal.
14 homes in what amount of time did you say?
Well, we're just closing on 2 more, so about 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Stephanie.
That's
Do you manage
amazing.
those yourself?
Yes, but I do not recommend it at all. Don't.
Girl, I know, like, so maybe the first 2 or 3, fine, but then after there's a tipping point, right? Where it just gets to be too much for one person to really handle, and you do need property management, and you really do.
Well, what happened with me is that I started doing so many different avenues of co-living that it's not that I didn't want to bring in a property manager, but what I'm trying to do is so different. It's a lot of trial and error. So until I got kind of a system going where I knew, how to fix certain things or work certain things, I didn't want to like throw someone else in there and be like, hey, figure this out. I wanted to make sure that I could do it right. So yeah, that's why I haven't hired a property manager.
That's awesome.
So what's your smallest bedroom house and I'm sorry, Donda.
That's
your
okay.
biggest.
She mentioned that she was doing a couple different types of housing. It's not just for these aging kids out of foster care stuff. You're doing VAs and stuff too as well. Is that right?
Yeah. So I have 2 homes that are helping VAs. I have 2 that are helping youth and college kids. I have a couple that are helping females, elderly, traffic victims, domestic violence, like you said, elderly, low income families.
Holy moly.
So variety. That's really neat.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Go ahead,
what's the amount of bedrooms? You know, you have the highest amount in a house, and then the lowest amount.
The lowest amount I have is a 3-bedroom, and the highest amount I have is 8.
And out of all of those choices, you got the VAs, the youth, the college, the domestic violence, the low income, the elderly. What is like your favorite, or that you'd like to lean on, or that you want to keep being diverse, or you want to like maybe streamline into one specific target?
Um, I like being diverse just because I think with how our economy is and where it's headed, I think it's important that we are able to help a lot of people. And with our
Yeah.
resources, I think that I think it's going to be through us or people doing these kinds of things because it's really needed right now.
Yes.
So I like to stay diverse. I'm also really stubborn, and that's kind of why I started doing so many. Is because a lot of people said you can't do this, you can't do that, and so for me it was just about being stubborn and proving
That's
that you
right.
could.
Tell me I can't do something and watch me.
Yeah, yeah,
The same
Yep.
way.
yep.
What's ones are the
Don't recommend it.
highest maintenance and the lowest maintenance for you? For the people, not the houses themselves, but just the people in general that you're putting into that grouping.
Want me to be honest?
Yeah.
Well, it's not a certain dynamic really. It's more just women.
I would
Yeah.
think
I
so.
mean,
Yes.
So
we're
too.
we're wonderful, but women are
We have
wonderful, but
issues, right?
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Moving.
it's not my favorite or my worst. It's just any women's housing I know to be prepared for certain things if there's several women, just because of just how we are, myself included. I mean,
Yeah, myself included too. And I think that women in general, like we nest, right? It's our home, right? And so when it comes to co-living, now you have, 5, 6, 8 different mother hens. And there's that clash that happens. So Don is laughing like, yeah.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a clean and sober, and we stay away from having females in the home or even having them. It just the males are just there's different dynamics there with that come with that. Well, it's a pretty large place too, so we've had women in the dynamics, and it's like, okay, this doesn't work. More drama, more just so much more effort.
For
Yeah.
sure.
It really is. And if you don't have I don't want to say a support person, but if you don't have somebody who's a good property manager that understands that, you can have a lot of problems in the beginning. I do not have a lot of, I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't have a lot of drama, but for how many homes I have and for how large, like of how many people are in them, um, I've only had to move like one person out, and I actually just rehoused them. But I don't have a lot of turnover, and I don't have a lot of drama because of how I do things. But it was a learning process. The first couple months it was very interesting. But you just learn that different people, everybody has to work together. It's about seeing who works together, and if you can move people to a different house or have an option to move them, it's so much better than having to put them on the streets.
Yeah.
So I think I just have a different way of approaching it. It's not like, oh, you're being a nightmare, so you have to leave. It's you're not working with this group of people, so let's see where we can move you where you feel more comfortable.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that because you're still helping them in the long term. So you said you have a different approach. What's your different approach?
Well, probably just that. Just because it's not for me, it's not about if they're being difficult or if I have like a problem situation, I don't just evict people. Well, I haven't had to evict. I just try and find a
Try and
solution.
work with them.
Yeah. Because there's a lot going on, right now. I feel like with so many different things, I feel like there's a lot of high stress with a lot of different things right now. And so a lot of people, it's a stress or something is wrong. So if you can put them somewhere where they, get along with people better, then, you know,
Yeah.
it works better.
Do
And
you? Oh, go ahead.
do you have systems that you allocate into your each place you open? You have a specific way of designing and running it so that you don't have and like even a what they sign all of that.
Yeah, so again, I do not recommend this. It was a stubborn thing. Most people start with like kind of one dynamic of housing and get that down. I, for some unknown reason, did all of it. And because there's so many different types of agencies and payments and everything, I've started to create a system that will work with all of it and figuring out how to make it work with property management systems. So we're creating something that what I can do is duplicate when I go into different areas. Like if someone wants to do this in Texas or Arizona or wherever, I can use what I'm building and help them do it more efficient, quicker, easier through what I've kind of done the last 2 years.
What's the name of it? Do you have a website and stuff that people could go to reach out to like and see what you're doing? Like, and you mentioned you have the VA and the foster kids aging out and all that. Do you ever house them all differently, or is the house just for that one type?
Like each house for a different topic.
Yeah. Or do you they co-live?
Honestly, it kind of depends. Originally I was doing like I would have like a VA house or a youth house. But in some circumstances there's been some mixing and it was kind of tenant choices. A lot of youth get along with elderly people. And so
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah.
seeing because elderly people are retired or they have more time where some of these kids have never had that. They've never had an adult care or,
Right.
you know, so
I love
some of
that.
them, yeah, so some of them have been mixed and it was like, again, it wasn't on purpose. It was kind of an accident thing. And so we just left it that way. So it's both. I have master leases that I do with some are commingled. I don't have like one specific way. Like I said, I wanted to do it all. So I did it all.
That's awesome. I love that.
I love that. I think that's actually one of the things in society that's lacking today is the interaction of the youth with the elderly.
Yeah.
They don't talk to their grandparents. They don't spend time with the older folks, and therefore, right, they don't learn from the past.
Mhm.
And so I think that's so beautiful. I love, love, love that.
Yeah, they can teach them some life skills. Like when I don't know how to do my laundry or whatever, you have somebody's like, oh, let me show you. I just love what you're doing. And it's kind of something I've kind of wanted to go through. My husband wants to help the elderly and I want to help the kids coming out of foster care. And I've been working on that down here in Arizona. So I definitely would like to connect with you more, Stephanie, so you get some insight. But I'm working with, I just actually had a call today with one called Chosen. It's a group that helps with kids in foster care and aging out. Have you heard of them?
Is it just in Arizona or is it nationwide?
I think they're just in Arizona. So I think they're just, what I'm finding out from them is through a church that's been doing that, but she's getting me some more information with some larger, that is more of the whole state, because it sounds like these guys are more of a specific area in the Phoenix area. So I don't know if they're growing. I just didn't know if you'd heard of them. Because you're in California, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
Northern California.
Okay.
I haven't heard of that particular one, but there's a lot of different agency there. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can help. Sometimes some of mine will come from an agency, and sometimes it's word of mouth. Again, the youth is something that a lot of them do not speak up because they've been, it's trust issues, and for valid reasons.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of government agencies sometimes that also don't haven't pulled through for them, so they're very it's just like just trusting.
Jaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So
Do you
what
find-
agencies do you recommend people reaching out to that want to help these people? Just like I know there's the VA agencies, but to reach out to help the kids, did you actually go through the foster care program?
Well, there's not a lot of nationwide. I mean,
Okay.
except for like things like veterans. I'm trying to think if there's like nationwide ones, but honestly, it's just about making connections. I kind of discovered by accident that because of my references, I've been able to get into the door a lot quicker. So that's something that I started doing. So like if you're interested in doing in Arizona, what I would do is kind of research the area and then use my references from what I've been doing the last 2 years and either like partner with people or somehow work with them to get them connected to these agencies because a lot of it is proof of concept or because they're trusting you too. They want to know that you're not going to, this isn't like a hey, I'm going to try this kind of thing. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong is like consistency, being showing up, doing what you say you're going to do. If you I don't recommend you just run out and just start connecting with these people unless you 100% know you want to do it. Because if you don't show that if you don't do what you say you're going to do, they're not going to do it again.
Right. Yeah. So I guess connecting with these agencies like that have maybe the programs already set up where you are as maybe an investor, just like I want to take my properties and lease them out to them and not actually run the programs and stuff too. Is that an option for some people that maybe they want to help, but they just don't want to do or have the ability to give as much and that time, like you're talking about, that maybe they can just lease the homes to help out these people,
Yeah, it's always an option. Again, it just depends on every area is different. Some areas have more of a need, some have less of a need. So it just depends on where you're at. I'm happy to help with anything. I can always look up like where your houses are and see what I can find in the area. But again, also it's a lot of it is proof of concept. So if you have someone who's already doing it and you can like JV with them or somehow, uh, so far for me, that's been like the most helpful.
Okay. So do you get grants at all to help you with buying these properties, or are you just doing traditional, or how are you buying?
I buy mostly creative. I do not use grants right now. I'm looking into different programs and looking into different ways to use the grants, but I am not very patient, and that's why I didn't use the grants.
Which is why she has 14 properties in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So there definitely is grants. There's definite ways that you can use all this stuff. I just, again, don't do what I do.
Do you find that you are interjecting and becoming almost in some situations a counselor or kind of helping them walk through some things for them to get funding for what they need to do, or just being there for the house?
You can get kind of pulled into that. You do have to be very careful. It's good that if you are getting started that you can have like somebody kind of in between to be like property managers, or so you don't put yourself in that role. Especially if you really care and you want to make a difference, you do have to be careful that you don't get involved into the drama and stuff. But it's important to not be counseling and doing other things because you need a license if you're going to do that. So you want to make sure that you're just providing housing, that you're not doing more, so that you can get in trouble. Because if you are providing more, then you need to have a license and
What would you say your biggest role is then? Is it okay, I just get a house and I pay the bills, or what would you say that you predominantly do on a regular basis?
provide housing. There's so many different, excellent. There's so many different needs right now. Just besides housing that providing housing is huge. There's besides housing, there's like the utilities and food and rides, and there's so many more things that can go into housing, but just the housing alone is huge. So that's what I focus on. And yeah.
Do you have partners or you do this by yourself?
Well, I started by myself, but I have started. I'm sorry. We have one partner in Reading that we have a house with, and then I've started to expand into other states. I have a partner in Texas, hopefully Colorado soon. My goal is to have partners everywhere because this is something that is needed everywhere. So,
I love it.
So as far as like monthly, is it the tenants that are paying you, or are you working with agencies to get paid, or like how is that working?
all of it. Some of them. Again, the best way really is that if you want to help or if you want to do something like this, and you don't know where to get started, I would say like reach out, and there's so many different ways you can do it. You can do a lease the whole house. You can do by bedroom. You can do like a yearly lease. I mean, there's so many different ways, and so many different options to do it. It's more narrowing down
Right.
what you want to focus on.
Right.
Have you
And would
tried?
that kind of go ahead?
Have you tried the subscription model so that you don't have to worry about like eviction type of?
I've recently started to implement that into one of my homes, but I haven't really needed it, to be honest with you. I have not had to evict anybody. I have had a situation where I did ask somebody to leave, but it wasn't a horrible situation. It was kind of mutual, and and I'm in California, so I know that there's all
Evictions are
these.
hard.
Yeah, yeah. And I know there's all these like horror stories, but I also think that if you treat people right, that you don't have to be in that kind of a situation. Not that people are treating people wrong and that's what happens, but
Right.
luckily luckily it hasn't happened with me yet. So
And Monique, when you asked her that question about the subscription, maybe explain to the audience what you're talking about when you were asking, or Stephanie, so they understand.
And maybe Stephanie knows more about it than I do. I know a little bit, but it's more of an application to be in a club, is my understanding, rather than you're actually renting a portion of the house out where you would get evicted if you didn't pay your rent. You're paying every month to be in this club that you're staying in this house, and that's about all I know. So I can't say I'm real familiar with that.
yeah,
But
I've heard different things.
Pad split type of thing. Is that what you're talking, right?
yeah, like Jamil does.
Yeah, I've heard different
Go ahead.
things that you can like implement to kind of help with. Let's just say if you needed to evict somebody, and it was a 4-bedroom house and 3 of the tenants didn't get along with this one person. I think that the membership just kind of gives you more backing to be able to move somebody if you did need to evict and go that route. But what I've tried to do also is have, if you have multiple homes, then maybe there will be an option to move the person, or I try and provide a solution before I evict.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it's worked out well for you.
Oh,
Yeah, it has. I really enjoy what I do, and I think that's the difference
That's a big
too.
part.
Is it? Yeah, it's I
It's
like
really
being.
fair.
Yeah, it's I enjoy being able to help people, and because of sub 2, it's made it like so possible and so cool.
yeah.
I never thought that I could help on this large of a scale. Then we're looking at apartments now, and so instead of just buying single family, we're looking at multiple
Nice.
multifamily. So
Yeah, that's some big growth. I love it.
yeah, thank
Now,
you.
when you're looking at multiple your family, are you still going to focus on the co-living, or will you also just maybe just rent it out to families?
It will still be co-living. Just so some of apartments are usually 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom at the most. So some of them will still be co-living, just in a different way. Um, but there's also there's different ways to do it. But we'll still be doing co-living with single family and multifamily.
That's very intriguing because I haven't heard a lot of people talking about, oh, I'm going to get an apartment building and then I'm going to make it into co-living. You hear about the single family home, but not an actual apartment building. So it's really intriguing, especially as the market begins to shift and we see people need more affordable housing. And if this whole apartment complex is all about that, then they almost all become this one big family, or can.
Yeah, and it's just about who you're helping also, because you don't want to do something where like if it's maybe probation or something, you don't want to put a ton of people in, I mean, just common sense, that would probably not turn out very pretty. But it's just about doing things the right way. We don't ever put like 2 people in 1 bedroom. The goal is to make people comfortable and have housing. So parking can be an issue. So it depends. It depends on what area you're in, how much parking there is. So it's not just, don't just go out and buy an apartment and start shoving people in there. You want people to be comfortable and not cause problems with your neighbors also.
Absolutely. You said that you help domestic violence and trafficking victims as well. Are those type of houses in like discrete areas, or like how is that working out for you?
They're not necessarily in discrete areas. It's not something that like I post or do pictures or things like that on. I've seen some people do things where they, I don't know, post the houses and explain things, and these are people. They want to be normal and treated normal, just like everybody else. So I think if you label the house and you label the people, you're not helping. I think it's more about just treating people the way they want to be treated, and however they're comfortable. So sometimes it could be like in a discrete location, and sometimes they don't want discrete at all. They just want to be put into a situation that is normal and around other people and be treated normal.
So do you have counselors that work with these people, or do these programs that you're getting them have counseling for them? Because I mean, that I would think somebody have gone through something like that would definitely need some counseling or help.
Yeah. There are counselors and stuff. I don't do counseling. Again,
Be licensed.
yeah. It's a whole
Not you specifically, but do you have people on staff or that you work with or collaborate with to help these tenants?
Yeah, these agencies probably have a lot too, I would think.
Yeah. It's about collaborating with the right people. And also, it's teamwork. Anyone who's been through any kind of drama or trauma, you need more than just housing, so it's how can you provide those things, and can you get those things. So it's just about teamwork, making it all work, open communication, and following through and doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've met a gentleman down here who's actually a private money lender for me, and he's a counselor, and we've talked about him helping with some of these ideas that we've talked about here in the Arizona, Phoenix area. So that's really
amazing.
I know, right? You just talking to people, these conversations, you meet people and stuff. But Stephanie, have you looked at buying stuff like some of my ideas with this was buying old schools, because you could, maybe make the classrooms smaller rooms, or families. You could actually house families in some of these rooms, and then they'd have to share the the showers and all that type of stuff. And my other one was hotels to house these people, because you could even have a business on the main floor, or businesses that these kids or these veterans, whatever, could work part-time to help them get on their feet as well, and then have more housing above or something. Have you?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead. Your
it's
thoughts.
all it's all possible. When I started 2 years ago, like I had all these ideas and all these things that I want to do. But you just have to remember you can't do housing and services unless you're going to be licensed. So you want to be very careful with if you, depending on who you're helping, just make sure that you're not you want to be truthful. You want to be helping, not hurting. So if you say you're going
Right.
to do all these things and you don't do all these things, just make sure that they're connected with their counselors and that everyone is open communication is huge. So if you're housing and it's a very uh, like sensitive type of situation, make sure that you have open communication with counselors and it's just about being open and honest first. And then there's so many things that you could do, and you can do hotels and all that too. But um, again, it's like the resources. If you are not managing it or you're not doing it, is somebody
Mhm.
else. Because you
Right.
could do all these things, but who's watching over it? Who's making sure that it's
Exactly.
actually happening?
And that it's safe
Um,
for these kids, that where they're
mhm.
at is safe too. Somebody's, yeah, not taking advantage of them. That's
Yeah.
that's kind of thing that's kind of held me back a little bit too. So that's a great. So I guess, starting off like the houses, like you said, in a smaller aspect to get going and get a feel for this and how the agencies work in your area and all these things would be a great way to start. And then you could actually grow like you have done and getting into apartments and bigger buildings and stuff.
Yeah. And I can help, look in your area and talk to some people and see where I can help and where I can connect you.
Okay.
Um, because usually they can tell you what the need is also, because every area is different.
Right.
What we're going to need where I'm at versus what you're going to need where you're at, it could be a whole different situation. So it's just about finding what the need is. I don't ever go get a house and then try and find the need. I find the need first, and then I will go get the house.
Oh, I love that. Great reverse engineering. Yeah. Monique's has a clean and sober home up there in Washington State. That it's a pretty big house. So she does really well with that one. But yeah.
I have a manager inside the home who manages it.
Mhm.
And he does a great job, and that's been huge for us in that space.
Yep, I recommend that too, and I do that in a lot of my homes, because it's you have to. I mean, it in my opinion, you have to, because if you want things to run smoothly and just like someone who's like head of the household, however you want to look at it, it's very important.
Yeah.
The go-to person. If anybody has an issue, they can go to them. And then if they need to go to you, if they can't resolve it, then they can come to you or whatever. It's kind of
Mhm.
how you both do that.
Yes, and it also helps a lot with the drama.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So
Um,
you have like apartments have offers on right now that you're working through to get. You said something about that.
yeah, so we actually just recently kind of transitioned a little bit. We're at 14 homes, but everything has been word of mouth so far. And the more that I've done things like this, it kind of has grown it faster than I was expecting. We also have a really cool opportunity to build. So that's actually what I'm trying to do right now. Is we got a couple of lots that were downtown that were just a wonderful opportunity. And so right now we're looking at building, doing tiny homes, modular apartments, and all different kinds of stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, so it's been just kind of it has grown quite a bit just like in the last year or so.
Yeah. Did you
Wow.
get the land from the like the city? Did they have land that you were able to purchase from the city themselves, or was it an actual owner?
So we have one lot that could be handed to, or not handed, well, kind of gifted to us because of what we're doing. But the other two, it was kind of an accident. Some people found out what we were doing and how many different people we were helping, and they ended up being friends of mine, and so they so we're going to maybe build together. And so so it's like a $20 million project, but
Wow, guy.
yeah, quite different from what I've been doing, but I
So
just
are
went for it.
the properties or the lots that you're buying are they large lots where you're going to be buying or building a development in the sense of, you said tiny homes, but like apartment type of modular homes? So they're going to be like a lot of them on the property.
Yeah, it's two separate lots, but they're in really good locations. That's another reason why they're more expensive. They're like across the street from the courthouse, or like within vicinity of the courthouse and downtown. So it's like walkable to the courthouse. So the location is just huge for what I'm doing. And it makes it so much easier for a lot of these people to, if they have court cases or if there's, things that they need to do. A lot of the government offices are downtown. So yeah, this is where we're starting, and it's, a couple different levels, and I think 80 to 100 units. It's kind of all still in the works right now. Like I said, we're doing a lot of parts at one time. So
Is that something that you intend to build like a whole community within as you're building these out on each lot? This is like a community type of thing now. We're going to try to get this as community based, and so that they're all collaborating and kind of building their connections themselves too.
well, so the apartments will just be, well, I'm kind of doing it a little bit different. They're going to be rented. Some will be to the community, some will be individual. But we're also doing like a tiny home thing where I'm working with different agencies to, get larger quantities of tiny homes to be able to help with these agencies and hopefully help in more areas. So that's kind of a separate project. But we have a lot of things in the works that I'm hoping to be able to take to different areas to help more people.
Yeah, there's, like you said, there's such a big need for it, and I love that you're very diverse. So if somebody just wants to focus on one thing, you can still help them on that because you've worked with veterans. Or if you want to do like what I want to do with the youth, then you have experience with them as well. And everybody, I mean, you could really help a lot of people and really spread this like wildfire across the country.
That was my
Can
goal.
you tell us a story? Sorry, go ahead.
That was my goal, but it's a little bit difficult when you're just a single person.
Right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a story about any particular tenant that just stood out to you as, a special case that you were just super proud of being able to help that person?
I don't know if it's like a specific tenant, but I think that something that people should know is that I think a lot of people think that what this is like, low income or people that have issues, and it's really not. A lot of people that I help are just normal, everyday people. It's not like this, you know what I mean? Like I think there's like this label that is like, oh, they're going to be troublemakers and there's going to be all these things, and it's not true at all. In fact, some of the people I'm helping are like the most amazing people and nice people, and they just had something happen and it has put them in a different situation. So it's really important that people understand that.
Yeah, I heard you speak not too long ago, and you were talking about like actually helping families too. It's not just individuals, but you've helped like single dad and a daughter and other situations. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, actually this last week I two different people had children, and yeah, it was dad, two different dads that had kids that just bad situation, and it can happen so quickly. A lot of people don't realize like what's going on with housing, I think, or just how much things are changing, and it just takes one thing for you to be in a bad situation, and sometimes it's really hard to get into somewhere if you have to do first months and last months and all this stuff. So it can happen very quickly.
So how did you find out about these people, or did they hear about you and came to you? Is it like, were they through a program? Because it doesn't sound like maybe they were somebody that was, coming out of rehab or anything like that, that would have directed you. It sounds like more it was like I got to find a place to put myself and my daughter. So how did that come? How did they end up coming to you?
Yeah, that's actually most of my phone calls that I get. A lot of them, like I said, it's not people with issues and all these things. I mean, everyone has issues, right? Like we all have issues, right? So
Right.
a lot of people that I am housing, it's not all these horrible things that people think. Most phone calls are just people who had something happen with their house and couldn't get into something quick enough, or maybe something happened they couldn't get in quick enough. And I haven't advertised before. I just recently started to, but it's all been word of mouth.
Oh, nice.
And I have quite a waiting list, so I really don't.
Wow.
I don't advertise because I'm kind of, I've been nervous too a little bit because all my homes are full, and so
Right.
that's why we start looking into building also.
Yeah. Awesome.
You mentioned you originally would like to go everywhere. Is that something that, like, do you do social media and maybe even like kind of put that out there, almost like Ann McNamara? She's like doing the communities where she's reviving the towns. Something like that, where people, if they knew that you were doing this, they knew that you were gifted in this, and that you had this experience and all the things that you can do, then they might say, hey, I've got places here that I want to, wherever that city or state might be, I want to talk to Stephanie because I can partner with her and help her where I'm at, or help people where I'm at. And I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna call Stephanie.
Yeah, I probably should. I've never been like a big camera person. I prefer to be like behind the scenes doing things. So this is like my second one, and I'm pushing myself to do it more because I know that more people need help. It's just
We're so glad that
We're
you
so glad
came
you
on.
Honored.
thank you. No, but there's people who there's people who are meant to do it, and there's people who are not, and I'm not. I've realized that like my screen is sideways right now, and I don't know why, but um, I'm not a big social media person. So yes, I have thought about it, but at least locally so far, I haven't needed to advertise and things like that. But yes, to help more, I
And
definitely
that's
need
just from
to.
networking with all like the different agencies and things, and getting your name out there locally, networking to kind of make those connections and get tenants and whatnot, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I didn't hear the beginning of the question.
Oh, I said, and you don't really have to, you haven't really felt the need to be focusing on social media and getting your name out there because you've been networking locally with those agencies that need that service or have the people that need that service. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that word of mouth is huge.
Yeah.
Again, there's, there's so many things involved in this, like, lenders, you need uh, people to bring you deals, you need to connect with the agencies. And so my biggest concern was just, I guess, proving that I was like a good person and that I was reliable and could do this. And I think that is very important, because there's so many things that can go wrong with real estate and with lenders and different things like that. You can do a ton of houses and all this, but I think that people should focus on that the most. Again, I'm always looking for lenders and things, but I wouldn't reach out to lenders until I knew that like I could do it myself and that it would work. And so at 12, 13 homes, I was like, okay, I think I'm okay. But
Yeah.
it's just, consistency and just, I think in doing what you say that you're going to do is really, really important. And then things kind of just start coming to you. I think
Right. like you said, the word of mouth, people, it starts to spread and somebody mentions something and somebody's like, oh, I just heard from somebody else that was telling me a situation and you might want to reach out to these guys. So that's really good that you're seeing. It's unfortunate that you have a waiting list, but it just shows that obviously people are hearing about what you're doing and there is a huge need for it out there, which is, bless your heart that you're able to do that and help so many people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to help anybody too. I know some of this is very confusing, or like which agency to go to or how to do it. And don't overthink it. Reach out.
That's me.
No.
I overthink. Hold on, I got a dog with a-
Yeah. I think it's so important that people understand that nobody can do this by themselves. I mean, okay, so yes, I started, but I also created a huge mess because I tried to do it all by myself.
Right.
It's don't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Reach out. Let me help in the beginning. Let me see what I can help connect you to. Because I'm happy to, and there is a need everywhere. Like everywhere I could go and do this. So
Yeah.
it's definitely needed, and I think that with our, we have a wonderful community. Why not leverage it? And
I
you know,
agree. Stephanie, so when you want people to reach out to you, well, Sharon usually asks this, I guess we're not quite at that time, but just what,
We're getting there, Donda.
Oh, wow.
We're already at 50.
I'm so anxious because I do
minutes.
definitely need to call and talk with you and stuff. So,
Yeah, how do people get in touch with you
Yes.
if they want your consultation, if they just want to, check you out, maybe if they're a private money lender, want to invest with you, any of those things, how do people get in touch with you?
So I just changed my website so I believe it is up today. And it's pavehomes.com. And I'm pretty sure it's ready to go now. We were just finishing some things yesterday. So, there's like a contact me thing somewhere on there, and you can put your information, and then I can reach out to you if you put some details in there. And I'm in sub 2 and owners. So yeah, I guess email me, or I'm sorry, go to the website and put your information there. And I am looking for private money lenders right now because I have 3 or 4 homes that we're trying to purchase for a couple of women's homes. So definitely looking for lenders right now.
so are you looking for long-term EML that can go, what are you looking for so that people will know?
Right now, probably I would say like 30 to the 80,000 range for, I would love 5 years. But I mean, all of it is helpful because I've got several homes that I'm purchasing right now, and then we're also looking at apartments. So I'm also looking for larger amounts, and then the building is, I believe, at 20 million right now. So that's what I'm working on right now. Well, and the single
Are
family
you doing a
homes.
syndication for that, or how's that working?
It's so for for the building, yes, that's separate. The single family homes, that's, they're all separate.
Are you doing
Yeah,
this?
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Donda.
I was just going to ask, are you doing this under an LLC or are you doing it under a for-profit or a nonprofit? What is?
LLC.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything has been, private, not no funding or anything. Not funding, no grants or anything, or everything has been just, privately so far.
Cool.
Are you looking at using the fractional platform to raise the funds? Because that's a pretty big project, the $20 million project, and having that available to you might be really a benefit for a lot of people.
Yeah, I was definitely going to look at that. I have been very busy, and sometimes too busy that it's hurt me.
Yeah.
I've missed out on some good things, and so hiring more help and team people that can help me so that I can do more enjoyable things and be involved in more things is something that I've definitely started to do more because it's been pretty crazy.
Awesome.
Do you have children, Stephanie?
Yes, I do.
What are their ages?
I have a 23-year-old who's about ready to graduate from college, and 17-year-old who is in high school, and a 13-year-old who is going to high school soon.
Oh, nice.
You spread them out a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we've got all different kinds of dynamics.
Yeah.
Stephanie, you said your husband had started in this in sub 2 before you got involved. Is he still, or is he working with you in this, or has he gone off on a different avenue? How's that going?
He does appraisals. He does some appraisal Zooms in sub 2 also. He doesn't he does his own thing. He does appraisals. I've been doing something completely separate. But he's involved in sub 2 also. But
Yeah.
originally when they joined, it was him and his partner, and I wanted nothing to do with real estate. So it's just kind of funny how it happens. And
Right.
Caught the bug.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's so many like amazing people in this
Yeah.
community.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, people that want to do cool things that a lot of other people don't want to do. And I think that I'm probably a little bit crazy with my ideas, but there's fun people in this group that are willing to do the same thing. So
Yeah, no, you're not crazy at all. Actually, that's my Mount Everest is co-living for domestic violence victims, and actually a full transitional life program where we're providing housing, we're providing mental health counseling, we're providing employment retraining to give them jobs, and in providing legal assistance to get them things like restraining orders and custody, help them with custody and that type of thing. So you're not entirely crazy, or I'm crazy too. That could be the case as well.
you could be crazy too.
Yeah.
That's all. It's all wonderful because it's all very needed. I with my first it was my second home that was my 18 to 25 that I started to do similar things. Everybody needs so many things right now, and it's wonderful to provide those things. I would love to bring resources to other people as this grows to, bring more opportunities like, driving things and everything you said. It's very needed in a lot of these areas. So like I said, it's not, don't do it yourself. It's a team effort.
For sure.
Connect with people that can bring you more opportunities for people.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I love about this community. It was the thing that won my husband and I over. We had done another mentorship prior, and it was way more money and had nothing to give like this has. It's just life-changing. We're very thankful to Pace and for creating this. It's been very, very much a blessing in our lives.
And everybody is so much more gifted in so many different areas that you can't do everything. And so by allowing other people and collaborating them into what you're working on and what they're working on, it just makes such a big difference because you're gifted. Just like you said, Stephanie's, social media is not your thing. You like to be behind the scenes. Maybe somebody else partnered with you that would like to be social media, that's their thing.
Right.
You just never know. And then you grow that much faster, or you help that many more people because of putting those two giftings together, or 4 giftings, or 5, whatever that looks like in collaboration.
Amen. Absolutely. You're so right.
Absolutely. And a lot of people who try and do it on their own, you could do a house or 2 or 3, and but you will need help because it's just, there's so many things that you'll see that you can bring more resources to people by, partnering with people. I love partnering with people, especially good people that have like the same ideas and missions, because it's more fun, and everyone's good at something. Everybody. I mean, if I can do what I'm doing, and I've been in real estate barely over 2 years, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely right. Well, we are at the top of the hour. It goes by so fast, doesn't it? Stephanie,
I
can you stay
know.
on after so we can chat with you for just a minute? But we are going to say goodbye to our audience. Bye,
Thank you.
good night. And oh, let me put this up real quick one more time so they know where to find you. Definitely reach out to Stephanie at pavehomes.com and you can connect with her there.
Mhm.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Thank you,
Good night,
Stephanie.
everyone.